Well, it's great to talk to you again, Noles fans. As you see, we have moved our monthly conversation with Vice President and Director of Athletics Michael Alford into an area that only our Florida State women's basketball team knows all about. And what a special season it's been for Brooke Wyckoff and company as they are preparing for postseason play. And we bring in, of course, the Vice President and Director of Athletics Michael Alford. Special setting in here, behind the scenes, showing you where all the preparations and the excitement comes to fruition with this Florida State women's basketball team. Michael, what a year.
Well, I love coming in here after post-game celebrations and listening to Brooke talk to the team and talk about those successes and really just to listen to her coach them up, even after the game and some of the comments and things they can improve on. But it has been such a special year for that program and just to see the future and how bright it is. She's got a special culture.
Yeah.
And the young women in this program, and when you talk to them and how excited they are for not only the season they're having, but the future of the program. And some of them are graduating, and they're talking about how they can't wait to be involved, to come back. And even Taylor O'Brien, who's new, came here and just talking about how she considers herself a Seminole now. And it's just a special environment she's established, and I tip my hat to her and her coaching staff.
Yep, so many special young women to obviously spotlight here. But Michael, we've got to bring up Tania Latson and what she has done as a freshman out of Miami, American Heritage, and she has just been so unbelievable in this freshman campaign. The awards, the mentions, what comes to mind for you right away when you think of what you've seen her accomplish this season?
For me, right away, is her personality off the court. Just how engaging, how thankful she is, how she's never met a stranger in the crowd, how she's going to spend time with the fans when they come on the court after the game. You know, she's just like all of them, but, you know, she's special coming in as a freshman, having all that success on the court, identifying her role in this program, fitting into the culture that Brooke established and the coaching staff has established, but then also understand what being a Seminole is about. And giving back to the community and just having those special relationships with other athletes and with other people in the administration and just seeing her outgoing personality like all of them have. And that's what really is special about her is her relationship she's developed off the court.
Yep, I got to look at my sheet here to run down all the accolades for Tania Latson. A finalist for the Ann Myers Drysdale Award, the top shooting guard in women's college basketball, one of 5 left on that list. By the way, fan voting starts Friday, March 3rd. Go to the website, hoophallawards.com. The ACC single season record points scored by a freshman in a season. The first ever freshman to lead the ACC in scoring during the regular season at 21.3 points per game. And of the 13 30-point performances in the league this season, Tania has 7 of them, one more, a record-setting 10 ACC Rookie of the Week awards as well for Tania Latson.
Truly amazing season. And she's just going to be getting better as she matures into this program, matures onto the college scene. And then some of the pieces Brooke is building around her. You know, OMG's been injured pretty much, a little bit battling injury all year and getting back from all-season surgery. But to see her starting to find her rhythm and some of the pieces she's bringing in next year, it's really exciting to see where this program's heading.
Yep. Keep an eye out for Brooke Wyckoff and this Florida State women's basketball team at the ACC tournament later this week in Greensboro, and then in the NCAA tournament here in a couple of weeks down the road. Well, a couple of items we wanted to make mention as well. Dates to remember here in the month of March. Buster Posey returns to Dick Howser Stadium on March the 11th as Florida State baseball will retire the jersey of the iconic Seminole and Major League Baseball star. And Michael, we've got some exciting events going on with Florida State Golf at Seminole Legacy Golf Club here coming up a little bit later on the month as well. Some fun things happening with both those programs right now.
Well, if you ever gotten the chance to go out, and it's unique to go out and follow our golf teams when they host a tournament, but we have wonderful facilities for them. And to say that we just got ranked 15th best golf course in Florida, and that's saying something.
Sure
in
is.
the state of Florida. And they've done a great job out there. Heath, who's the grounds and superintendent, to Jackson, who runs general manager of the facility out at Seminole Legacy. They do a marvelous job. You go to the Ed Burr Family Grill, some of the best food in Tallahassee. But just to go out and follow them, I highly recommend it. Go out if you're a golfer. Go out and walk a day
Yeah.
during the tournament and watch these young men and ladies compete, because they're, you're not often you have two programs, men's and women's, both top 10.
Yeah.
And just marvelous programs, and they're fun to watch.
Yep. Buster Posey as well. We're going to honor Buster.
Yes.
How much fun will that be? You're a college baseball guy yourself.
Yes.
That's March the 11th at Dick Howser Stadium.
Well, I've really enjoyed getting to know him since becoming athletic director and coming to Florida State, and having many conversations with him, even when he was in San Francisco, and now he's moved a little closer to Atlanta. Just getting to know him as a person, his family, what his interests are, and how he wants to get back involved with this program. But, he's one of the greatest Seminoles of all time.
Yeah.
And be able to honor him and honor his jersey where it should belong out there at Dick Howser Field forever. We're really looking forward to having him back on campus.
Yep. That'll be March the 11th, the weekend of the Pitt Series. Buster Posey will return, and his number will be retired, and he'll be honored, and rightly so, for his career at Florida State University. Speaking of Florida State baseball, the Link Jarrett effect is in place right now already, ladies and gentlemen, with an opening weekend series sweep against James Madison, and then this past weekend going to number 8 TCU and taking 2 of 3 from the Horned Frogs, nearly busting out the brooms again on Sunday in a tight game on the final day of that weekend series. How impressive is that right off the bat, moving into the top 20 in college baseball right now?
Well, you see the plate discipline, and you see the approach to hitting that they're taking on the offensive side. And you've seen some of our offensive numbers, and that's coming from what Link and being out there and watching Coach just really work with our hitters on what to look in certain counts, plate discipline, when they're going to attack, and then you see it coming into the series.
Yeah.
And that's just been fun to watch. And then you see the marvelous job they're doing with our pitching staff.
Yeah.
Coming out, and Wyatt, I thought it was a brilliant move to have Wyatt coming out of the bullpen, especially early this season, with some young arms in the bullpen to give us that veteran coming out of the bullpen, and one of the best pitchers in college baseball.
Yeah.
You got to face now coming out normally with the lead.
Exactly.
Bring him out, and you got to play catch up with him on the hill. So it's going to be difficult, but just to see the strategic moves he's making with his personnel, but also game management and some of those decisions. It's just been really fun to watch, and we're young. We're going to have some ups and downs this year with some of our young players, but they're going to mature as the season goes along, and just see the progress that we're making, because once again, it's the most historic baseball program in college baseball, and we tell that story now at Dick Howser Stadium, and just to have those young men buy into the program with one goal in mind, and that's to win a national championship here. And that's our goal, and we're going to keep striving towards it.
Yep, absolutely. Off to a great start at 5-1, and 12 of the next 14 games on the schedule at Mike Martin Field inside of Dick Howser Stadium. So a chance to catch Link Jarrett's squad in year number 1 of Coach Jarrett and company with what they have already done at number 16 in the college baseball polls out there right now. Believe it or not, spring football practice is right around the corner, Michael, and everybody is very, very excited about the expectations and the things that are returning, the exciting things returning for Mike Norvell and this Florida State football team as we get rolling next Monday already with spring ball. And some polls have us as a top 5 team in the way too early top 25 polls out there in college football.
Well, I've been going out and watching the work, going to some tour duties and seeing the work, and I promise you they have not stopped working hard. They understand the commitment that it takes to be competitive at the standard that we want to compete at. And the young men are really buying into what it's going to take to uphold those expectations that we all have. But, we're excited for spring football. Spring games are going to be exciting to see some of our young players who came early. I think we have 19 players on campus that are brand new going into spring practice. So just to be able to see them and them get accustomed to our offense, our defense, and our culture, more importantly. And the young men that Coach brings into the program, they fit our culture. They fit what being a Seminole is truly about. And we can't wait to get started March 6th on to spring football practice.
Yep. Everybody would want to see a game this weekend if we could have it. A little bit of work to be done before we get down to Orlando Labor Day weekend to take on LSU. Speaking of Coach, he, just a couple of weekends ago, was down in Brighton
Right.
with the Seminole tribe of Florida, taking in that weekend's worth of festivities. And you saw some of the pictures, some of the videos on social media. I know Coach had a great time. The folks in Brighton had a great time seeing him there. Pretty special connection between the Seminole tribe and Coach Norvell being able to get together a couple of weekends ago at that great festival.
Well, it's a special relationship we have with the Seminole tribe. You know, I'm fortunate. I talk about this often that I've been at 2 universities that's had special relationships with various tribes, and don't take that for granted.
Yeah.
You know, I talk to our freshman class when they come in. I talk to our student athletes. It's an honor to have that name across your chest. You know, you represented a group of people who we really respect, and they respect us. And we use it as an educational tool to talk about the history and talk about the great state of Florida and the Seminole tribe and what they represent in this state. And for Coach to go down there, I know the Marching Chiefs go every year, the Durham family with Renegade and Osceola is there every year, and the coach to go down and experience that in Brighton was a special time for him, as he has shared with me, and get to meet people and just talk about the future of the program, but talk about the future and the culture that we want to represent with the Seminole tribe, and special relationship we have, and special people that we get to represent.
Yep, amazing stuff. There's no doubt, to say the least. Well, I couldn't help but notice as well, you talk about the athletic side, the academic side is very, very important to all of our coaches and student athletes, and to every single one of our programs here at Florida State University, to you very much so as well. And the announcement just days ago of our recipients of the ACC Postgraduate Scholarship Awards was unveiled.
Well, it's special because, you know, everything we talk about, do it on the field, on the pitch, on the court, in your sport, and in the classroom. There's a standard across the board that we have to uphold, and I'm proud we have a 3.2 GPA as a department. We graduate 85% of our student athletes, and just to be able to go and represent this department on campus and do things the right way.
Yeah.
And that's something we're very proud of. And we have some special people, Maddie Anderson in beach volleyball. If you don't follow her and the accolades she goes and represents this country during the summer, playing in Spain, playing in Brazil, and all the places
it's an amazing
she
story.
Travels representing Team USA. Get out and see her at beach volleyball. And you got Kaylee Mudge with softball. You know, who doesn't love what Mudge does and what she represents. You got Nick Mason with swimming and diving, does a marvelous job for us, and Vic Allen in women's tennis.
Yeah.
I mean, doing just tremendous, won the postgraduate awards, and we're just so thrilled for them and be able to thank them in person. It's been special.
Yeah, congratulations to those Florida State student athletes for their accomplishments, both in the field of competition, certainly in the classroom as well. Great work across the board. Well, Florida State softball, not the last time we want to bring up, but one of the most important items. Lonnie Almeida and company, one of the great softball programs in the entire country. They played one of the toughest schedules down in Clearwater against some of the best already in college softball. Amazingly, we're 18 games in already, Michael, into this schedule here in the springtime with FSU softball and off to a tremendous start and getting more and more of their cleats underneath of them, if you will, as they continue to get closer to ACC play.
Well, they're a great team to watch. If you haven't been out to the Plex and watched them and experienced all the renovations that we've done out there, the new premium seating, the decking down, new turf. We spent over $2.2 million on softball. We've done over almost $7.5 million in upgrades in the last 8 months, with softball leading the charge.
Yeah.
And they're just doing a tremendous job, you know. And once again, I talk about the culture, and Lonnie does a great job in the community with her student athletes, and they're so engaging, and that's why you see the fan base just want to support them as much as they can, because they're just great character of people within that program, and they're fun to watch. I encourage everyone to get out and see them, because they're off to a great start.
Yeah. Well, as you and I have talked in our conversations monthly, you talk and speak constantly about the investment into Florida State athletics, into what it's going to take. You're also someone that looks 4 or 5 steps ahead down the road. You do a great job at the vision of seeing what's coming forward down the line. obviously Seminole boosters are so important,
Right.
and reaching out to those alumni and getting involved is a big piece that you've talked about. You also mentioned at the Florida State Board of Trustees meetings late last week about some of the different things happening with revenue distribution in the Atlantic Coast Conference as well. Kind of tie it all together, just from your vantage point, 35,000-foot view, what you're looking at right now, what you want to see, how it kind of all comes together to continue to push FSU athletics the way you and the places you want it to go.
Well, it's amazing because when I first became athletic director, really looking, and I'm a big chart guy, big analytics, big decision tree, and how things are going to break out. But we have various options as we look into the future that go all the way out in performance that go out to year 2042.
Yeah.
On what the future of FSU
so again, vision. We talk about vision.
Look like, but you're going to make different decisions as you go along. But you try to put in all the different variables in that pro forma and forecasting of where you're going to be, so you can make those decisions moving forward. But it's very important that we look at redistribution of revenues, because our TV contract is tied up till 2036. Yeah. And with different leagues having new agreements that pop up, some of them go to the market a couple of times before us. Yeah. We have a standard, and we cannot keep our standard being 30 million behind our peers across the country on an annual basis. So as a league, I've encouraged our league to really look at what we're doing. How do we get better? How do we stay collegial, but yet the brands are the brands. And we have several brands in this conference that need to compete at a different level, that expect to compete at a different level. So we're just going to keep those discussions going and keep talking to the conference about what our expectations are and what our standards are at Florida State. Because at the end of the day, Florida State has a standard, Florida State has a brand, and we expect to stay at the top.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well said. And as we also wrap up here, the continuing connection out there, the great job that Stephen Ponder and his team at Seminole Boosters are doing, Michael, and how folks out there that are boosters right now can help and connect different people around the alumni base, one of the largest out there, to continue to be a part of the team and help out.
I talk about the power of one. We have 375,000 alumni, largest alumni base. It's like a broken record. And we want to get to 20,000 members to represent our 20 teams. And just if you know someone out there, just go ask them to join the boosters. Any amount, it matters. We're sixth, sometimes seventh, depending on what you add in our own conference in number of booster members. And that shouldn't be. Once again, we have a standard at Florida State. We expect to be the leader in everything we do. So asking if you know a friend, if you're a member and you got a friend, an office mate, someone, a sidewalk alumni, someone who just loves the Seminoles, ask them to join at any level and support our student athletes, because we are a self-sustaining athletic department. Everything we do pours right back in the student athlete experience, which is our passion and mission, to provide the very best for them that we can.
Yep. Exciting times.
It is. We're getting better.
Yes.
I look at the president all the time, every day, and he'll say, "How you doing?" I'll say, "Sir, we're getting better." We're getting better.
And what's all about. Michael, always appreciate it. Thanks so much for your work and your time. And thanks for coming on today.
Thank you for everything you're doing, and go Noles.
There we go. There we go right there. Michael Alford, Vice President, Director of Athletics. My name is Jeff Culhane. Big thanks to Leo Georgie, Mary Tierney, and Bella D'Souza as well for their work producing our monthly Seminole Sit-Down. And keep it locked right here. This was a rundown. You want another one? We'll be back next month here on the website on Seminoles.com.